What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video for you because I am joined with BJ, aka That Surprise Witness. You can find her on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And today we are talking about the Free Britney movement and how important this next upcoming court hearing really is. BJ, you have an experience in law. Actually, where are you right now in your law career?
So I graduated from law school in May of this year, and I have now sat for the bar exam. I am awaiting my results that I should get in December. So hopefully it's good news and we don't have to take it again.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be just fine. And you've had so much practice with the whole Free Britney movement, and she's been covering some other legal things on her YouTube channel. So go support her for sure. Like, literally pause this video, click go subscribe to her channel. Let's get her to 1,000 subscribers soon, and you guys can learn so much more about the Free Britney movement, but also like the Tati drama. You guys know that has been real. So go to BJ for your legal content. I'm happy to share with you guys that this video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. I'm so thrilled to be working with them, and I even have a coupon code for you guys to use. You can visit adamandeve.com and use code SLOAN, S-L-O-A-N, for 50% off one item and free shipping to United States and Canada. The code is up and running, so you guys can go to adamandeve.com and start shopping. I actually did a little shopping myself, and they have discreet packaging, so you guys can shop in privacy. You also get 24/7 customer service, which is awesome for people like me because I always end up putting the wrong address in, or I get 2 of 1 item, so they are there to provide you with service when you need it. And finally, I do want to say I am really proud to be working with Adam and Eve. On a personal level, my uncle actually lost his battle to HIV, and my family misses him every single day. He was the only other gay person in my family, and I have to say I am so proud to partner with Adam and Eve because 20% of their profits goes to HIV prevention. Adam and Eve is working to fight the spread of HIV across the world. So check out adamandeve.com. They're doing their part to give back, and don't forget to use my code SLOAN, S-L-O-A-N. But let's go ahead and just have this full conversation about the whole Free Britney movement and the upcoming court hearing. You guys may or may not know today there has been new releases on what is going on with the Free Britney movement and Britney's sister, Jamie Lynn. I don't even like to call her sister because they barely know each other, at least from what I have learned. And you guys already know Britney's been working her whole life, so she's never even really been around Jamie Lynn. So I don't know why Jamie Lynn was ever really given any authority or position in Britney's life, but she was a trustee in an account called SJB, which I thought was Sean, Jade, and Britney, but also could be Spears, Jean, Britney, like in reverse. Actually, that part I'm still confused over. So Jamie Lynn was a trustee of this account, this really big account, right? Like that has been in question for a little bit. So like, what does it really mean to be a trustee? Are you sure? Do you know what that means? I have literally no idea.
So I am definitely not a trust expert, but I did learn a little bit about it in law school and a little bit about it recently while I was studying for the bar exam. And essentially what a trust is an accumulation of property, and property under the law can mean dollars, it can mean companies, it can mean real estate, it can mean jewelry, right? Whatever, you know, and basically it used to be a tool for the ultra wealthy to kind of have more of a say in what happened to their money at the time of their death, right? So you would write a trust, you would put some property in it, and you would say, this trust at the time of my death the property of the trust will go to a certain person or another company, etc. What we see happening now is lots of people are using trusts, and a big reason, ironically, that people do use trusts is to keep their assets and property away from litigating in a probate court. And I say it's ironic because now we are litigating this, and it is going to probably be heard in the probate court because of the conservatorship. So this specific trust, I think, right, from what I've read, this is my opinion, right? I'm not 100% on most of this stuff. I don't, people are getting sued and all, so I want to be very clear that this is just my understanding. That doesn't mean it's 100% correct or accurate.
So this trust that we're talking about, I want to say I heard like $600 million is the amount of it, and It's crazy to think that she has a trust that is worth $600 million when her net worth is $56 million.
So every trust has to have a few things. Property is one of them. Another thing that they have to have is a beneficiary. Beneficiary is the person who the property in the trust actually belongs to. In this case, that's Britney of the SJB trust. So everything in that trust belongs to Britney. And it is alleged and believed that that trust holds all of Britney Spears' pre-2008 assets. So all of her property, real estate, royalties, income, right? Anything like that. Another thing that trust can do is, as you have described, generate income. The way that they can generate income a lot of times is, as you've mentioned, investments in certain types of bonds or firms or funds. And really it's just kind of up to the trustee of the trust to manage those funds.
And trustee is Miss Jamie Lynn. Cringe, Zoe 101. Like, please just stay back in your swamp, Louisiana. Yeah.
So usually for conservatorships, you do want to go to a family member, right? Because you're managing that person's funds as if you're stepping into the shoes of what that person probably wants. And a family member is naturally more likely to know. However, that is not the same with a trust. Usually with a trust, you want someone who knows how to manage that particular type of property, to make decisions for it. But the reason that people have speculated that the SJB trust is worth about $600 million is twofold. The first reason, people know Britney Spears is worth more than $57 million, as you've already mentioned. And Forbes has speculated, I think in 2018 or 19, that Britney Spears should be worth about $600 to $700 million. So if you put those two things together, and then add to those two things the fact that Stonebridge Investment Counsel, as you'll remember, Lou Taylor's former employer and investment firm of sorts, right? They went from managing about $125 million to about $700 or so million in one single year. And a lot of people are speculating that that was the money from the SJB trust. Now, a lot of people might be asking right now, wait, if they already moved the money, why is Jamie Lynn asking for permission from the court to move that money? If she already did it, doesn't that prove that Stonebridge, is just a coincidence? It could prove that, and it could be the case that Jamie Lynn has acted in good faith and hasn't done anything wrong. But of course, there are some people who are speculating that Jamie Lynn is now asking the court for permission because it all came out that that money is in, basically they put the cart before the horse. They made moves. This is the theory, right? This is just, a theory, but that they moved. And when I say they, I mean Jamie Lynn, Jamie Spears, and Lou Taylor in collusion with each other is the fan speculatory theory. Not my, I'm not asserting that this is
no fact. They moved the money before they got court approval to do so. Now they're going back to get court approval so that when they dig into these finances, they don't find $600 million was transferred without Brenda Penny, the judge's approval, right?
That's a theory.
That's a theory.
And that's why a lot of people do think that the SJB trust is worth about $600 million. Because, the money that was moved into Stonebridge, the report from Forbes that allegedly Britney is worth about $600 or $700 million, and the fact that we know that Britney has made hundreds of millions of dollars over the past few years, even the past 5 to 10 years, and we don't see that in TriStar Sports and Entertainment's account reports each year annually. And now we do see Sam Ingham for the first time, to my knowledge, for the first time, objecting to Lou Taylor's firm, which is TriStar Sports and Entertainment, who is the account reporter on Britney Spears' conservatorship. We do now see Sam Ingham actually finally objecting and opposing to some of the findings or the entries of those reports. So we'll see where that goes as well it's just another thing to add to the growing list in this conservatorship.
Yeah, and the main update, I guess, today would be that Jamie Lynn is now asking to remove herself from this trustee position, which, in my opinion, just makes me feel even more icky about the situation, because I feel like some people are dropping like flies. We had Samuel Ingham kind of switch sides, and now he's defending Britney. We had Andrew Wallet, try to get himself back into the conservatorship and then drop out. And now we've got Jamie Lynn in this really weird position with this $600 million.
Did she get the job done? No, she withdrew that petition today. So she had petitioned as the trustee of the SJB Revocable Trust. She had petitioned the court to allow her to move funds from this trust into blocked accounts by certain mechanisms that would involve Stonebridge, which is Lou Taylor's former company, former employer, rather. So today was the hearing on that, and they were set to go before Judge Penny and to say, these are the reasons why you should let us do this, blah, blah, blah. Instead, what we actually got was Jamie Lynn Spears withdrawing that petition. So she basically made a request to the court, and today was her day to show up and argue why. And instead of showing up and arguing why, she showed up and said, never mind. Now, that is what I was able to get from the court document. What else was uncovered today was that, or was what that transpired today, was that Jamie Lynn Spears wants to withdraw herself as trustee of the trust. Now, I did not get that information from court documents. I actually got that information from Lawyers for Britney, and more specifically also Kevin from Free Britney LA and Leanne Simmons, who were in the courtroom today. And while they were in the courtroom, they heard Jamie Lynn, lawyers or whatever, state that Jamie Lynn did want to resign as trustee. I didn't see that in the court documents. So it's unclear to me whether or not she actually still is the trustee, or if her lawyers
like she has to get approval for that type of thing, or I'm sure they might need to appoint someone else if she's the sole person before they completely remove her. So that'd be interesting to see.
Sam Ingham allegedly, according, I'm saying allegedly, but this is according to Free Britney LA and Leanne Simmons, who were there in court. They said that Sam Ingham stood up and said, if Jamie Lynn Spears would like to resign, I, Sam Ingham, Britney's court-appointed lawyer, would like to take over as a sort of guardian of the trust. Now, you're going to ask me what's the difference between a guardian and a trustee, and that's kind of the extent of my knowledge. I would have to do a little bit more detailed research. I do know a guardian probably has a lot less flexibility and a lot less actual control over like being able to do stuff. But that's kind of the extent of my knowledge. I would have to do more research on like the differences.
So just before we move on to the next court hearing, so was the $600 million transfer approved, or was that withdrawn? I don't know if I caught that. So like, has that been approved to go over to, I guess, Stonebridge, or?
That petition was denied without prejudice, which means the court could hear the same case again. But
they could object to that decision, kind of, like.
Yeah.
Some type of lawyer could. Okay.
Somebody could, but I don't think anyone would, because remember, Jamie Lynn withdrew the petition. She had asked the court to move some of that money, and then she showed up today and said, "Oh, never mind." So legally speaking and technically speaking, the money, let's pretend that it is $600 million in the SJB trust. According to what everyone is saying, the money should still be where it's supposed to be in the trust and has not been moved. Again, we have this whole speculation that...
I know, but it seems legit. Like so last year, 600 million goes up. Like, okay, if Jamie Lynn did not withdraw that, or I don't know why she would even withdraw it. It's so weird, because I feel like they needed approval so that when they go back or when they start digging into these files, like it's not uncovered. But I feel like that just made the next court hearing so much more interesting, because there's still this open question if that $600 million was ever moved to Stonebridge, and if it was moved legally.
Right. And a lot of people asked sort of and you also kind of asked, why Jamie Lynn? What kind of expertise, other than Britney's blood related sister, what gives her any authority or any
exactly
experience or whatever to be the trustee? And the cynical answer to that, and what a lot of people speculate, is that it's very little to do with Jamie Lynn Spears and a lot more to do with who people call the mastermind behind this conservatorship, Pizza Subway rat. So
yeah, Lou M. Taylor seems to have a really close connection with Jamie Lynn.
And a lot of people are speculating and saying, like today even, you know, the reason that she's doing this is because for once, finally, her like career is starting to kind of pick back up. She has, you know, her baby bottle pop promotion. She has her, you know, reboot of her show, and she's just kind of coming back into like the public light. And millennials who did grow up kind of like in the Zoe 101 generation and did watch it are kind of, a lot of people are kind of like feeling like they have to choose between Jamie Lynn and Britney right now, who otherwise don't actually care that much. Like, they don't know about the Free Britney movement even, or they're not Free Britney, but they show up to Jamie Lynn Spears' channel and all they see is Free Britney, Free Britney, Free Britney, and they're like, wait, hold on, what is this? So a lot of people are saying, you know what, maybe Jamie Lynn like didn't know what she was signing up for exactly whenever she was, you know, agreed to do this. She thought she was going to sign some papers and then that trust was just going to sit there. My cat.
It's okay.
And that trust was just going to sit there, but maybe it did turn out to be a little bit, you know, she did turn out to feel a little over her head. And that's no tea, no shade. I would not know what to do with that trust either. Okay, I'm going to be fair to Jamie Lynn for 15 seconds. I would not know what to do as trustee of a $1 million trust. I would just, I would sign it over to someone who was more competent than me. And if I was bamboozled, hypothetically, by someone who did convince me that they knew what they were doing, I might trust that they would do a better job at it than me. And so now that Jamie Lynn has, according to people who were there today, said that she no longer wants to be trustee and she's backing away, I am interested to see how the Free Britney movement does start to perceive Jamie Lynn moving forward, and if Jamie Lynn does make any other additional steps to kind of try to save face.
Okay, so now let's talk about the November 10th court hearing, because that is coming up next week. Right now we are filming this on Monday, November 2nd. I don't know when I'll edit it up, but we've got a huge court hearing happening, and I don't know why part of me thinks that half of the docket is going to be pushed like another month because this has been pushed out for so long. But let's just take a moment and talk about what's going to be happening on this court date, because they are supposed to be deciding on some big things, including Bessemer, and I guess we can just kind of start with Bessemer. So when it comes to that appointment, like, what should we really expect? I mean, like, right now it seems like we've got Loeb and Loeb fighting for it. We've also got Jamie Spears, Big Jamie, with some new lawyers. So I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be a war, right?
It does sound that way. And I think that your instinct that some of this stuff is going to get pushed off is probably correct. We have a little bit of foreshadowing if we just isolate to the Bessemer issue. There's a few things that have to be determined just on that one issue. First of all, whether or not to seal the record, right? There was a motion to seal that was filed and then withdrawn by Jamie, right? And the judge has tentatively denied, but some weird stuff's going on where it still seems to be kind of like on the docket. Like, I don't know if they're going to decide exactly what to seal, what not to seal. I don't know. Another thing that has to be determined is Britney's statements about Bessemer Trust. She had made statements through her attorney, Sam Ingham, such as she wants more autonomy in her life, and she believes it is in the public interest for the record to be open, right? There's certain things that Sam Ingham has said on behalf of Britney that he did not provide a written statement from Britney called a declaration. Well, Jamie's lawyers have said, hold on, everything that Sam Ingham said, that Britney said, is hearsay. That's not allowed to be considered by the court. So the judge has to decide on this hearsay evidentiary ruling before she can even get to the merits of whether or not Bessemer can step in and take Jamie's position. And finally, the most important thing that a lot of people aren't talking about, it's kind of just sitting there under the surface, is Jamie is allegedly arguing kind of behind the scenes subtly that there's no vacancy in the conservatorship of the estate position because he is a conservator of the estate. So I went to check out the probate notes on the court's website. And sure enough, in those notes, it does say that a matter to be determined in the hearing is going to have to be, is Britney petitioning for Bessemer to be a co-conservator? Or is Britney petitioning for Bessemer to be the sole conservator? And if Britney is petitioning for Bessemer to be the sole conservator, which means no more Jamie, then according to the probate notes that I read on the LA court's website, someone, Britney probably, is going to have to actually affirmatively petition or request for Jamie's removal. And some people are saying we can expect to see that document filed before the court date. So a lot of people are saying the reason it's going to be so late is because they had to wait to get approval of Loeb and Loeb, because Loeb and Loeb is the one that has to write it. But like all of those three things have to be decided before the judge can even appoint Bessemer. So I think that's probably unlikely that it's all going to be able to happen on November 10th. The SJB matter also got kind of kicked to the November 10th date. I don't know if it's going to be heard in the same courtroom or the same courthouse or how that's going to work. It's kind of all just being pushed and compressed into this one day. And I'm with you. I don't think that
there's no way. People are going to be like, that judge's going to have a headache. It's going to be dehydrated. Like, no one's going to have time for this. I feel like it would be a whole day.
And the court date doesn't start until 12:30, I believe, in that time what's it called? Pacific time. So, yeah. I mean, if it started at 8:30 a.m. and they had all day, right? But I mean,
it's these West Coasters, they're like off by 3:30. I'm just kidding, but they really are.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm going to work for a Manhattan law firm, and it is actually really interesting to see the difference between like the working style. I mean, COVID and everything kind of made everything in an equal playing field. I think people are all kind of like tired by 5 o'clock, but
yeah, I get that. It's like West Coast works on East Coast business time, and when it's 5 o'clock here, it's also 5 o'clock there. So the Bessemer thing is a total mess right now, and we'll have to pretty much figure out what's going to happen with those other options before that decision could be even made, because all the things coming before that. So what else are we looking at for that court date? I know there's a motion to seal something. There's a few other things going on. So what else should we expect for the November 10th court date?
I think there's an outstanding motion to seal.
Wasn't that for the Andrew Wallet appointment though? So that's already removed. Like, that shouldn't even be on the petition anymore, right? Andrew Wallet is gone. Motion to seal Andrew Wallet. Wait, motion to seal Andrew Wallet's like accounting, or motion to seal his appointment? Do you remember?
Yeah, that's another thing, and I'm not sure if that's going to be heard on November 10th exactly. It may be like November 17th, but we do have a hearing upcoming on whether or not to redact, which means kind of like censor out certain parts of the account report, which is prepared by TriStar Sports and Entertainment, the court account reporter. So, you have Jamie and company who have submitted these reports kind of blacked out and everything. And Sam's over here saying, yeah, okay, listen, some of that stuff, you can keep it blacked out. But some of it has nothing at all to do with any private information, and you need to make it public. Now, it's possible the judge will also be considering that, the account report redaction on November 10th. I don't have the docket in front of me. It's possible that she's considering that on like the 17th or something. But that is something that is coming up in the future very soon, whether or not to redact that. And if the judge does determine to go with Sam's side, which she has done pretty much unanimously since this has started, then we can expect to see some more information and sort of behind the curtain of the accounting that Lou Taylor has been doing. And listen, if you follow Meaner03 on Instagram/Twitter, you already know there's some weird stuff going on with that accounting. Like, for example, TriStar Sports and Entertainment got paid the exact same amount to the penny as this lawyer, Blair something or another. I don't remember her name. Oh, Dina LaPolte, Dana LaPolte.
Yeah.
It's Dana or Dina, whatever her name is, and TriStar, and there's like lists of amounts to the penny, like 5-10 different things. They got paid the exact same amount for like what? I don't know. Maybe they have a good explanation, but if we get to see behind the curtain of some of these redactions, we're going to be able to see more insights and get more insights into what Lou Taylor has been, how she has been accounting and how she has been reporting on Britney's estate for probably the last decade.
Yeah, and where Britney's money is going, because if she supposedly has a $56 million net worth and it's been pretty, it's plateaued for some time, there's some money that is missing. And I feel like that's a huge piece of the whole Free Britney movement, and that we just want to know, like, where's her money is almost her independence in this way and her estate. And it feels like if she didn't have this money, that she probably wouldn't be so controlled, or even people wouldn't really want to take advantage of her. So she needs to get that estate taken care of, and Bessemer to take over it, because obviously there are way too many questions with where it's been for the last 12 years.
And don't forget, right, February is approaching pretty quickly, and that's whenever it's going to come back up for the judge to decide yet again on Jody Montgomery's position in this conservatorship, and whether or not Jody Montgomery should continue to be the temporary conservator of Britney's person. So it may be possible that Britney and her lawyers could petition before February to end the conservatorship of the person. And that has been something I have seen speculated. As we discussed in the last time I was on your channel, Britney has 2 conservatorships, one over her money, one over her body. And she may be gearing up to get rid of that second one. And I wish her the most luck, power, all of the wishes and everything else, whatever she said on her Instagram post.
And we'll be here to call out those people and just follow this whole thing. That is what's kind of like, I feel like, scary for the conservatorship, is that there are so many people who are from so many different places across the world, and they're so invested in this, and deleting their Instagram accounts, trying to suppress the whole Free Britney movement isn't going to do anything at the end of the day, because people are far too invested. There's been so much information that has been leaked that people just know a lot more. And I feel like there are so many questions that have not been answered. And I can't imagine just moving past this, and all these other people are left behind with these pages about exposing these people and getting the truth out, because it's going to have to end at some point. And these people are going to have to.
Right now, it's channels like yours, Instagram, accounts like mine, Lawyers for Britney, Leanne Simmons. It's kind of like, it's a huge movement. It's a global movement. But you got to remember, there's rumors that there are major networks working on expose documentaries. Major media companies who are
Wait, did I tell you Netflix is coming out with one? Or do you know that?
Because the thing is, we already found all the information. Not all of it, but a lot of it, even without having access to the full court documents. And so many people who have been in this movement for like 10 years, like, once people watch those big documentaries on, a Netflix or whatever, they're going to come to your channel. They're going to come to my channel. They're going to come to these channels and be like, whoa, what about this 600 million? What about this thing and that thing, right? It's going to be just a can of worms that they won't be able to suppress. And I am looking forward to that, because
I got goosebumps. Literally getting goosebumps.
Now, they have been suing people to try to silence them, allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only. You saw last year Brian Kujar was sued. You saw Jamie sued someone for defamation. And way back in 2009, someone was sued. And I know people have their opinions about that particular person now, but the point remains, they've been suing people because people were getting the word out.
So let's talk about the motion to seal and some transparency.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, or maybe I didn't, I've been talking to people all day, got certain information in these court documents from today's hearing. And that information was that Jamie Lynn Spears withdrew her petition to move the money, with Stonebridge's help or whatever, right? She withdrew. She said, never mind. But the other information that we got today came from people who were in the courthouse. That information is Jamie Lynn Spears did not only withdraw her petition, she is talking about no longer wanting to be the trustee of this trust. When I went on to the LA court system's website, I didn't see that second part. The only thing I saw was that she withdrew her petition. So I think that really speaks to how important the judge's decision on this motion to seal, or on these several motions to seal, is going to be. Because these hearings have been closed to the public and closed to the media for years. And yes, Sam Ingham did agree to that for years, and I'm not letting him off the hook. However, today we saw a huge, probably the biggest news of the day is that Jamie Lynn Spears doesn't want to be a trustee of this trust anymore. And that's coming from people who were in the courthouse or in the courtroom. And that shows just how important it is that Jamie Spears has been sealing all of these court hearings for all of these years, because there is no telling how many dozens of other very important pieces of information that the public has never had access to and will never have access to because of this, in my opinion, misuse of the sealing process. And I really hope that Judge Penny does side with the side of transparency, which would be siding with Britney's request to make it more open to the public. And I think that's one of the really important things that is going to be decided. I don't think that'll be pushed off. I think she will decide on the motion to seal. I have been wrong about things. Please don't write that down on your, wish list and say it's going to happen or whatever. But I do believe that will be decided on. And I'm really hoping, and I'm kind of confident, that Judge Penny will say no more motion to seal on this particular issue. Public access is granted, and then we will be able to watch this play out in a much more transparent way.
Yeah, I cannot wait to dig into those files. Even though I won't understand half the words of them, I would love to see how much money has just randomly gone different places, or what they've been trying to hide for some time. Because, like you said, Britney wants it to be open, and sometimes we hear her, like, through different people say, Britney loves the movement, Britney supports her fans, blah, blah, blah. So I do think Britney knows something is going on out here, and I do believe that she is aware that people are trying to fight for her freedom and call these people out. It's good. It's a good feeling to know that she might not feel alone, but I feel like she is still in such a bad place that we need to hound on this conservatorship and make sure that what happens in court is well known, well spread, and that we can continue to stay really informed on this movement, because at first it was painted out as a conspiracy, and we don't want to taint it with that, because it's very much a real life situation and an example of conservatorship.
Yeah, and I mean, Sam Ingham said it himself. He said, quote, "Far from being a conspiracy theory or a joke." That was his quote. And he said, it's actually concerned citizens and members of the public who have good reason to be concerned, because this stuff has been kept from the public for years. And it's not a conspiracy theory. Sam Ingham said it himself. And so, is that our boy? Is that our fave? No. But is he still Britney's lawyer? Yeah. And it's important that he's saying that we're not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, especially when Britney's dad is doing interviews calling it a hoax. So I hope people can see there are two parties here that are against each other. It is the civil war of Free Britney. And for now, it seems like we're in a good spot, better than where we were last time we talked. So I just want to go ahead and say thank you so much for coming on my channel. And guys, please comment below if you want some more collabs like this, if you want something more like current, maybe like a weekly thing or a breakdown. Just let me know, because we could even do like a post-court like live stream where we just talk to people about what we learned that day or something exciting like that. But for everything else legal related, go to That Surprise Witness, aka BJ's YouTube channel. You guys can subscribe below. You can also go follow her on Instagram and on TikTok. Get her to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So go subscribe and support her, because she has helped me understand so much. So many other people understand what's going on here, and she has used her legal powers to help free Britney. Again, guys, thank you so much, and we will be catching up with you guys and the Free Britney movement very soon. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.